Welcome back, and let's start working on the try. First, in here you will say await, and we're gonna simply first create the instance right toward the Firebase authentication right above. So below this text controller, as you guys can see in here, we'll say final, and we'll say Firebase auth, and I'm gonna give the name as auth. It's gonna be private, so as you guys can see right at the start, that underscore. Now we'll just assign the Firebase authentication, make the spelling right in here. There we go, Firebase authentication, and then we say dot instance. We just created that instance successfully. Now we will go down and use that. So right with the await in here, let's have that authentication. Then we say dot. We will do the authentication with the create user with a password email. It's gonna authenticate that, the email and the password. Now we're gonna just have that in here. So the emails gonna be the email that the user will enter. So in here we will provide the controller, okay, in which we just assign the controller that the user will enter. It is going to be right inside the email controller, as I explained this in detail right in the previous video. So in here we will have that controller, email controller with a dot tags. The email going to be right inside that. That's why in here we use that. So dot trim, and then we say dot to lowercase. Now right after that, as you guys can see the password, we're gonna just get the password controller, because the password is gonna be right inside that controller specific, okay? So tags.trim, all just good. It's gonna authenticate the email and password successfully. And in here semicolon. Now we're gonna simply create the authentication for current user. So in here first provide the final key, is going to be non-changeable, and then type user was, there we go, and give the name user. Let's just assign that authentication dot for the current user, okay? So it's gonna be for that specific current user who will be online. That's why we create that in here, that out.current user, and we just assign that right in this user. Okay, now let's move further. In here we're gonna also create that specific UID for that current user who will be online. So in here UID, and we're gonna just get that specific UID, the current user who will be online, okay, and we're gonna simply just assign that right in this UID. And now we will go and define that UID, okay? We will just create that as globally. So what I'll do, I'll just go toward the widget. We will just create a new dot file, there we go, and we're gonna name this as a global underscore variable, just short name var, so it's mean variable, that's fine. In here let's create that string UID, okay, it's gonna be globally, all just fine. So we are done with that. Close it from here, and let's go toward the body of a sign-up screen in here. Now in here click and import the global variable dot. Error has been gone, you guys can see. So now whenever the user will upload their photo, specific photo, we're gonna store that photo right inside the Firebase storage. So for that purpose, what we will do right in here, first I'll say final key, and we're gonna create that reference. We will create it toward the Firebase storage. So in here we will say Firebase storage. We didn't see the suggestion, just write it manually. So in here we'll say storage, there we go. We'll create that instance with dot graph, and then as I told you already, you will create a folder. Okay, so in here we will have that child, and right inside that you will create a directory, whatever you call folder. In here we say user by the name of user image with s, because there is going to be multiple images for a different kind of user. So user images, that directory folder, and then we say dot child, and now we're gonna just provide this specific UID. Okay, for that current user who will be online, we're gonna simply then store that specific image for that specific user who will be online with the specific UID. So in here that's why UID, and then you say plus sign, and then the specific type for that image, it's going to be .jpg, write it and semicolon. Okay, so it's just fine. We successfully created the reference. I told the Firebase storage, as you guys can see. Okay, and there we go with the folder directory user images. It's going to be right inside that images. Okay, with the specific UID for the current user who will be online with the specific type of a image photo. Now below this, what I'll do, we're going to simply say await first, and then we will, with the help of reference, okay, that one that we just created, okay, all of this just assigning this ref. So with the help of that ref, we will just simply put the file in here dot, and then put file, as you guys can see the suggestion, and the file is going to be the image, okay, because the user image is going to be right inside that image, okay, underscore image, and write it and semicolon. In here exclamation mark, there we go, we'll check all just fine. Now also we will get the download URL for that specific photo of a user, because we're gonna save that data for that specific user right in the Firebase Firestore. So we're gonna then need that. So first what I'll do, I'll create a variable by the name of user photo URL, in which we will get the download URL for that specific photo of a user, current user who will be online. Let's go right at top and just declare that. Below in here we'll say string type user photo URL. By default is going to be just empty string, and let's go down. Below this, put file. In here we will say user photo URL, there we go, and then we just assign first await in here, and then we say with the help of that ref, okay, reference, we're going to get the download URL. So in here get download URL, and it's going to be store, and assign it to this string type variable, which is user photo URL, created a while ago. It's done now. So we successfully create the reference, as I explained this in detail before, and it is going to be right inside that user images, the photos of a current user with their specific UID who will be online, right inside that directory folder user images with their specific type JPG. And we just, with the help of that reference, in which we just assign all of that work in this ref, okay, with the help of that we just put the file, okay, which file, the image, in which it will contain the user image that the user will upload, okay, that specific user who will be online with their specific UID, as I explained this in detail. And right after that, as I told you already, we're gonna need the download URL, because we're gonna just store that data of that specific user who will be online right inside the Firebase Firestore. So we're gonna need that download URL. So for that purpose we just created a user photo URL, and we just assigned that URL in this string type variable. Now let's move further. We're gonna get the other data, and we will just store it right inside the Firebase Firestore, okay, and we're gonna create a specific collection for the users. So in here, let's do that. We'll say Firebase Firestore, let me see the suggestion, there we go, and in there let's create that instance. And as I told you already, we'll create a collection by the name of users, okay, which is going to be right inside that, and we'll say document in here with a specific UID, okay, as I explained this so many times, of a current user, and then we will just set all of the data, okay. In here curly braces, write it end in here, semicolon, and take this down from here. So how we will store the data? First we will get the user name, so we'll just simply set that the name first, okay. It's gonna be like that, username right inside the user collection, okay. As you guys can see, we created that insta right inside the Firebase Firestore. It is gonna be simply like that, so make sure the spelling must be same, okay guys, right in here, or otherwise right in the future when we will do other work, it's gonna simply get you confused. So make sure the spelling must be same, okay. So in here username and colon in here, then we'll simply get the username which is right inside the controller of a name controller, okay. I hope you remember, as I explained this in detail before in the previous videos. Controller.text .trim which is fine, edit and comma. Now let's get the UID. So in here first the key, guys, it must be same, okay, make sure, and let's get the UID, that specific UID of a current user who will be online. Guys, we make a little mistake. What I'll do, as you guys can see that curly braces and the end of that curly braces, cut this from here to here, Control X, cut it, and right inside that with the dot set in this braces, in here paste it, okay. Now the error has been gone now, and in here add the semicolon, all just good, okay. So we didn't notice that before, but otherwise it's fine now, the error has been gone. Now we're gonna simply get the user number, so in here the keyword is gonna be user number, in here colon. Now we're gonna simply get the number for controller dot text, okay, and dot trim. We just set the data right inside the Firebase Firestore. As you guys can see, we create that collection, user and instance for the Firebase Firestore. So we successfully get the user number. Now I'll just get the user email. So in here we'll say email controller dot text dot trim. We're just gonna get the email, and also let's get the user image, okay. So in here key name gonna be user image, right at end colon, and then we say user photo URL, okay. The user image gonna be down, okay. We just get the download URL and we store this inside this user photo URL, as I explained this in detail before, okay. So that's why in here we're gonna get that user image. Now let's move further, and we're gonna just get the time also, at which specific time the user just get all of the things done. So in here time colon date time, there we go, the suggestion, and in here also just add the dot now, because we're gonna have the current time, and at the end colon, and we're gonna simply get the time, and also we're gonna set the status. So in here keyword is gonna be status, and we'll have it approved. So in here string and then write approved. All just fine. So we just set the data successfully right inside the Firebase Firestore. As you guys can see, we create that instance right in the collection of users. All of the data will be there with their specific UID for the current user who will be online. It is going to get all of that and store it right inside the collection of user, right inside the Firebase Firestore. Now below this in here, all of these things done. Then we'll set the navigator and we'll say push replacement and take the context. Now we will provide the new root. It is in material page root. In here provide the context. Take this down from here so that you guys can see it easily. Okay, so let's get it to the home screen. Just remove those yellow lines. We'll just ignore it, and in case of any error, if it's catch it, then right inside there we will set the set state. Right in this state we will set the is loading to false. Okay, it's gonna change the result dynamically. Also right at end we will set the error dialog. Okay, message maybe error dot to string, and right after that we will simply right in here have the set state, and right in there we will set the is loading to false. All done. So all of the working has been done successfully. This video is getting a little lengthy. Right in the next video we will test that and show you the output. Okay, it will work just fine, so just don't worry for that. See you in the next one.